In this video, we'll walk through how to present the end-to-end Level 1 demo script for Watsonx.governance. Watsonx.governance is built on three crucial principles: Lifecycle Governance, how to manage, monitor, and govern generative AI and traditional machine learning models from any vendor, on-premises and in the cloud; Risk Management, detecting and mitigating risk proactively while monitoring for fairness, bias, drift, and the new generative AI metrics; and lastly, Compliance, managing AI to meet upcoming safety and transparency regulations and policies worldwide, as well as capturing and documenting metadata across the model lifecycle. During this demo, we'll look at how to review an AI use case from a business perspective and understand the degree of governance needed, how Watsonx can truly address the AI model lifecycle management from the time a model is being developed to when it's utilized in a production environment, how we can trace and document the origin of data, models, associated metadata, and pipelines at scale, and lastly, how to monitor models for fairness, bias, drift, as well as other metrics related to generative AI during development as well as production. We'll follow along the day in the life of the stakeholders in an AI governance practice. The use case is an insurance claims flow where we'll start to show how to govern multiple models using IBM's Watsonx.governance technology. So let's start at the application level where we instantiate a generative AI claims process agent. So from a customer's point of view, they can access the insurancex.ai website to submit information about their claim. So they can interact with this assistant to declare an accident. I'll enter my information and select the car related to the insurance policy. And then it will ask me to fill in some additional information from the open form. So I'm just selecting a picture that goes with the accident, and then I can submit my claim. So next we'll switch to the insurance claims agent point of view and how they can view the newly submitted claim. So as an insurance claims agent, I can view the agent dashboard to see any of my pending tasks, the recent claim requests, etc. So we'll look at the recently submitted claim for the Nissan Maxima. I'll hit process claim. And I can click the generate evaluation button to make the large language model and machine learning inferencing. So we're given a summary of the accident based on a description from the claimant, a fraud likelihood prediction, as well as steps to remediation. So next we'll look at the model risk governance layer to see how we govern machine learning models and large language models behind the scenes. We'll start by following one of our personas, Rita, who is a risk manager who uses the Watsonx.governance console as part of her daily task. The first level in any multi-layered AI governance program is the organizational level. Watsonx.governance console is an integrated governance, risk, and compliance suite that empowers stakeholders to identify, manage, monitor, and report on risk and compliance initiatives across an enterprise. So let's see how we can use the governance console as an AI executive. From the home page of the governance console, Rita, our risk manager, can now see all of the populated dashboards with key AI information that affects her business line. Her visibility is controlled by the level of access that she's been given in the platform. So her other peers may see more details on compliance-related regulations, risk assessments, key indicators, or issues that may need remediation. So let's examine some of the available information to Rita on this dashboard. So we can see a use case summary that breaks down our use cases by risk, status, and our high-risk models as well. We can see a breakdown status of the metrics that have been breached. We can see our use cases by lifecycle phase, so where the use case is proposed, have they been approved or maybe decommissioned? And then we can see an overview of our compliant versus non-compliant models as well. Rita can also see a breakdown of the models by provider. So she can see a breakdown of the models regardless of where they are being developed. We can track these models within watsonx.governance. So if we're developing with OpenAI or IBM or Amazon, etc., we can still track and view these models in a consolidated manner. We can also see a breakdown of our models by class. So are they foundation models? Have they been fine-tuned? Or they are traditional predictive models, etc.? And then useful links related to any compliance laws or mandates that might be applicable. So model information must be made available in the context of where and how the model will be used. In Rita's dashboard, we can quickly locate this information via a graph that displays the model use case lifecycle phases. So Rita can see an overview of the AI landscape at InsureX from this single view, and she can see these AI implementations at a granular level and use the insights to drive resolution, advancement, and risk management for all AI adoptions. By taking strategic approaches to AI and directing her team to the right areas, she can run the AI program as if it were an AI factory. So next we'll take a look at the model use cases. Our use cases provide the business context of how AI will be used within the organization. Based on attributes of the use case, we can determine the level of risk, the governance needed for the model supporting it, etc. And our use cases will normally go through a review process which determines the level of risk and compliance for the organization. In addition, we can relate the relevant internal and external governance standards that we must comply with. So from our hamburger menu, we'll select our inventory and our model use cases. And we'll take a look at our insurance claim agent assist use case. So from the new tab, we can see our use case contains all of the information that Rita needs to understand the business context, as well as the risk and compliance implications it brings to her organization. Additionally, she can access all of the technical details related to the development of the models, prompts, metrics, and facts, which are automatically registered with watsonx.governance. So our use cases can be defined as proposed, reviewed, etc., and approved using the platform's embedded workflow engine. So each persona, such as reviewers and approvers, can determine the applicability of the AI use case to the business, the benefits, costs, risks, etc., along with the compliance implications to the organization. This use case is governed by a workflow, and later on we'll review how workflows automate and help create processes for our AI activities. Again, from our use case details section, we can see our status, we can see our risk level. So how risky is this use case related to Rita's business area? So the value is configurable, and this can be determined by a calculation or a qualitative analysis. We can see an owner. So the key individual who's assigned to be responsible of this use case. And this assignment can be automated as well. And then we can see a third-party link which will provide additional context. In this example, this is our InsureX car insurance application that we viewed earlier within the demo. If we scroll down to risk and compliance, we can see the mandates tab, which will show Rita the relevant laws, rules, regulations, and standards that you'll need to consider and comply with. So these can be manually associated or can be set up to be automatically related based on the answers provided to questions in the use case. In the future state of the product, we'll provide out-of-the-box AI risk identification and assessment questionnaires to automatically identify and document controls for all of the identified potential risks based on the AI use case and answers to the questionnaire. So under our processes tab, we can see what business processes are impacted by our use case. So if desired, Rita can drill down into the risk posture of the process, which can help her determine the level of risk of the use case. Also, some of the risk and controls related to this process could be applicable to the specific use case. So if we go back to our use case and look under associations, we can review all of the models and distinct prompts that are developed to support the use case at hand. We can also view the relationships between our use case and any of the business entities, the mandates, our models, the processes that could be related as well, and the questionnaire and the future state of the product. So the risk of the model and the related use cases are key determinants of the degree to which the model will be monitored in Watsonx.governance. So our model use cases can be viewed as a repository that provides an organized and complete picture of an AI lifecycle from conception to production and decommission. So when Rita needs to understand the specifics of an AI initiative, she'll start with her model use case. Within this repository, she can view the details such as stakeholders, activities, and alignments. Having the context to further her organizational initiatives and manage valuable resources, start with a model use case. Next, we'll look at workflows within our governance console. Our workflows can be categorized as the following. User-defined automation logic is used to formally manage the lifecycle activities, such as reviews or approvals of use cases, risk and compliance assessments, models, and issues, or to develop a communication plan. Part of the workflow around defining an AI use case and moving assets through the lifecycle relies on effective communication. Rita uses workflows to communicate to her team and establish a process. So we'll search for our model use case requests. In this workflow, Rita has developed a process for a model use case entry. So the process starts with a proposal requested by a business stakeholder. An AI risk officer then provides compliance requirements within mandate. Once that alignment is selected, an oversight team decides if this model use case meets internal criteria and decides if it's approved or rejected. Our workflows automate the processes of our AI activities. Within workflows, we can proactively create a plan of action for numerous scenarios. The core of any AI governance strategy is to have a set of workflows to automate, promote adherence to internal and external processes, and promote communication among AI stakeholders. Next, we'll follow another one of our personas, Alex. She's a model ops engineer who ensures that the Insurix AI models are not just designed, but also efficiently deployed, monitored, and the proper iterations are performed. She must make sure that the models are monitored and maintained while in a production state. A critical part of a successful AI governance strategy is monitoring models and having an infrastructure to support monitoring activities. Let's see how that can be achieved with model evaluation. So from our watsonx homepage, we'll access our insurancex.ai governance project. And this is where we perform all of our prompt development to address the use case. We'll select our insurance claim summarization prompt and evaluate. A model evaluation ensures that models in development environments meet established compliance standards, regardless of the tools and frameworks that are used to build and run the models. This approach ensures that AI models are free from bias, can be easily explained and understood by business users, and are auditable in business transactions. You can evaluate machine learning models or evaluate prompt templates for foundation models all within watsonx.governance. With watsonx.governance, we can evaluate prompt templates and deployment spaces to measure how effectively the foundation models generate responses for the following task types. Classification, which is useful for categorizing information such as customer feedback so that you can manage or act on the information more efficiently. Summarization, which saves time by condensing large amounts of text into a few key pieces of information. Generation, question answering, and entity extraction. Our extraction task can help us find key terms or mentions in data based on the semantic meaning of words rather than simple text matches. We've already ran this evaluation, so we can review a summary of the evaluation results on the Evaluation tab in watsonx.governance. We can gain insights about the model performance, an overview of the metric scores, and any violations of default score thresholds for our prompt template evaluations. We can also adjust these thresholds within the platform as well. Watsonx.governance also enables us to configure model monitors to help us understand the model behavior and performance. We can use the model health metrics to determine how efficiently the model deployment processes transactions. From the Model Health tab, we can view metrics from our scoring requests, our records, token count, users, and things like our throughput and latency. If we go back to our Generative AI Quality tab, we can see all of the metrics that are being evaluated related to generative AI quality. So when we evaluate our prompt templates, we can review a summary of the quality evaluation results for all of the different task types, such as text summarization, content generation, entity extraction, and question and answering. Based on the task type of the prompt, the monitors will calculate a variety of metrics. Some of the metrics compare model output to the reference output that you provide. Other metrics analyze model input and output against a corpus of reference data sets. Our quality evaluations monitor the model's ability to provide correct outcomes based on how well the model performs using labeled test data called feedback data. We can also configure drift evaluations with watsonx.governance to measure changes in the data over time to ensure consistent outcomes for the model. We use drift evaluations to identify changes in the model output, the accuracy of its predictions, and the distribution of the input data. These methods for evaluating LLMs build a complete and cohesive picture for Alex to determine what mitigation approaches to take. She can apply automation as a means of setting guardrails and see ongoing measurements to apply resolution if needed. With monitoring capabilities integrated into an AI governance practice, insights from the metrics can be acted on. Next, we will take a look at the role of a data scientist to see how she uses lifecycle governance in her day-to-day tasks. Lastly, we'll follow our persona, Diana. She's a data scientist for Insurix who spends her time understanding data, developing AI models and prompts, and testing those AI models. Her main concern is having the ability to track the progression of models as they mature. Oftentimes, details such as the data lineage, development facts, and production metrics are important elements to build a complete picture of a model. Diana has been successfully using fact sheets to automatically record these elements in the watsonx.governance lifecycle tracker. So let's take a look at the different components and understand how they orchestrate AI tracking. At the core of AI governance is a solution called fact sheets. When you develop a model within watsonx, a fact sheet of that model is created and continuously populates with metadata throughout the model's lifecycle. The service can be embedded into development, deployment, or production spaces in external or internal IBM environments to capture the data to feed our global view of AI. So we'll start by looking at our AI use cases. From our AI use case page, we can see all of the use cases that we have for our AI models. We can see a name for each of our use cases, a status, the owner, the inventory, which is basically a folder or category for the use cases. We can see any associated tags, a risk level, and alerts in our dimensions that we're evaluating. So let's take a look at our insurance claims agent assist use case. Here we can see, again, the status and risk level, our inventory, and from the lifecycle pane, we can see the fact sheet of this use case. So initially we see what are the different approaches to solving this use case. So our approach will define a path for solving the goal of our use case. So one approach might be a variation on a machine learning model or a challenger model. Each of our approaches could include multiple versions as well. So for our insurance claims agent assist, zero-shot prompting, we can see where this use case is sitting in terms of development, test phase, validation, etc. And then we can see each of our approaches for the specific use case. So each of the roles in the model lifecycle contributes facts about how the model was created and deployed. So for example, the business user can provide the intended use for the model. The data scientist can describe various data gathering and data manipulation activities. A model tester may describe key testing measurements, and a model operator can provide key performance metrics. So together, these are the facts that provide a rich story about the construction of the model, and it's collected within watsonx. If we look at our insurance claim summarization prompt that we have in development, we can see details from the fact sheet. So we can immediately see what approach, the version, where it's sitting in the life cycle in terms of development, validation, operational. So we can see this is in the validate phase. We can see the foundation model that we're utilizing, this FLAN UL2, and then our prompt template as well. So the prompt template that we've developed in our project, any of our prompt parameters, in our evaluation test results as well. So we can see all of the metrics that we're tracking for GenAI quality. So the goal of a fact sheet is to foster trust in AI by increasing transparency and enabling governance. So in this example, we see how fact sheets is used to track our AI models from request to production, and more importantly, how it organizes the collection of relevant information or facts about the creation and deployment of an AI model or service. So these can range from information about the purpose and criticality of the model, our measured characteristics of the data set, the model or service, or actions taken during the creation and deployment process of that model or service. In this demo, we've highlighted the core capabilities of the watsonx.governance platform. We looked at how different personas interact with the Watsonx governance solution in their day-to-day work lives. In Lifecycle Governance, we saw how fact sheets automatically captures the metadata of a model's lifecycle. In evaluation, we saw how generative AI metrics can help organizations address performance and risk issues within production models. And finally, in the governance console, we saw how we can see operational AI at scale and apply automation and guardrails around our processes.